2-1 victory. Take a look at what that means. Of course, we know before going into this game that Bayern Leverkusen were champions. They've accrued 90 points in those 34 matches. More on what else happened in Germany at the moment, but this very much the headline. Here's Archie with Xabi Alonso.
Undefeated Bundesliga champion. Can you put that into words?
At the moment, it's difficult to put into words because the achievement is so big, it's so meaningful to us. For me, especially, I'm really proud. For me, it was the next challenge. 5 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, when we beat Bremen, I had that in my mind. We need to make it even bigger, this Bundesliga, and I knew what it meant. That. And the guys, they have been pushing and they have been, giving, not resting in the laurels, but they have been pushing and they have been preparing. And I'm really, really proud of what we have achieved. Really proud and thankful for the guys, for the players, because for sure we will remember, but we will need some time. But what we have achieved is unbelievable.
There's another 2 more trophies to come potentially, but just this first one. What does that mean to you, your first trophy as a coach? You've won it all as a player, but now?
For sure it's different. As a coach, you take it in a different way, more from the sidelines, but you have really close. I try to care about each player, to try to get close to them, to how each one feels about this great season, about their moment. And for me, it's like, I don't take the credit is for them, and my job is to try to help them, but for sure it feels great. Different, but it feels great.
He's been great talking to us, hasn't he, Xabi Alonso, throughout the year, but I suppose that's easy to do if you never lose a match. Jan Arge Fjortoft joins us. Jan, if this was Bayern Munich, it would be a big story. Explain to us why it being Bayern Leverkusen makes it such a bigger story.
Because this is a club that never have won anything. Yes, they won a UEFA Cup, I guess, once, but there is a club that had a culture of not winning. This is the club that we call Leverkusen. We talk a lot about it. This is a club that is a company club of Bayern. This is a special club that never had this passion that we know from German football. And then you see them today, their captain Radetzky is climbing up the fence with the Meisterschale, with the champion plate, going up, giving him to the fans. And not only that, they get Alonso to climb up and do the same together with the fans. They're starting today with a week with their Europa League on Wednesday. Then they have the FA Cup final, the German FA Cup final next weekend. And they still, today, then they can rest Wirtz, they can rest Xhaka, they can rest Schick. They have built up a squad that is unbelievable. And when we saw the goals, Dan, before we talked now, Andrich, I mean, be a good viewer of football and tell me before the season that this season gonna be the big season of Andrich. I mean, he comes in, he's a German national team player, he scores goals, he's like the villain at James Bond, just that you end up loving him more than you love James Bond.
Wow. What an analogy that is, Jan. Your mouth has gone mad today, by the way. It's brilliant. Shaga, just explain from a professional footballer's point of view how hard it is to continue this focus, considering that you're still in the Europa League, you're still, of course, got the Cup final coming up. You sealed the league 3 or 4 weeks ago. How tricky is that?
I thought the difficult part to going unbeaten was that next game after winning the Bundesliga title. Given everything about Leverkusen that Jan just spoke about, you win the Bundesliga title with weeks to spare. You have to be excused to celebrate, to lose your focus. You have to understand how the fans are feeling, and you as players, as for as many of us who play the game, it's a very select few who lift titles at the top end of this sport. And all of a sudden, you've joined that elite club.
Archie brought up the Invincibles there. You look at that Invincible 11 that Arsenal went through that whole Premier League season without defeat. There were some superstars, world-class players within that side. Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, of course you could be here for a while listing them. This is a different way of doing it, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it's hard to compare teams. It's hard to compare teams who do it, as we see here, was gone through a whole season. What is even more impressive with this Leverkusen team is, Dan, what you're talking about, because these are players. I used Andrich as an example. I used a Hoffman. I used a Grimaldo. They had to develop them into great players. This is a team which are now 2 games away going through the whole season. And you may say, yes, they're playing Europa League. It would be harder if they play in the Champions League. But still, to just do that, game after game after game, it's very, very impressive. And it's also Arsenal, traditionally, historically, a great winning club. This is a bit different. They're a coach that kind of was a consequence of the way they wanted to play. Then they got Alonso in. Remember, this is the first season, the senior season, Alonso as a coach, which is amazing as well. And then they managed this summer, after he saved them, quote, last season, to get in the players who are a consequence of the way he wants to play. And then I think that every footballer that you will ask, when you listen to Alonso, when you listen to him speaking, you are dreaming to once have a coach that is sensible, a coach that is intelligent, a coach that has done it himself, so you can look up to as a role model. And most of us have had so many coaches that are completely crazy, and then suddenly you see in 2024, you see a coach who not only is a great coach, but he's also a great leader. And you can see that in Artie's brilliant interviews during the season. You can see it when you meet him. He is a fantastic man. He just kind of attracts you the way he wants you to kind of build into the way that he wants you to do. And I feel that the Leverkusen players, they just love him. And there's not so often that we love our coaches.
No, and that brings us nicely on to Bayern Munich, shall we? Of course, are still looking for their coach. Would win by 4-2. It means that Bayern Munich will not be in the German Super Cup next season. And Thomas Tuchel was asked about that. This is what he had to say. I told the guys to stop scoring after the 7th minute to make sure De Zerbi or whoever is taking over next season won't get a chance to equal my trophy tally with the Super Cup. Don Hutchinson joins us as well as Jan. Jan, who says the Germans don't have any humour?
There is a great list of German comedians. But you have to say this is scandalous. And you know, I always defended Tuchel. I rate him as a coach, but this is embarrassing. They're 18 points after Leverkusen, and they are 3rd in the league. And the way Manuel Neuer there suddenly became old, that I've never seen live on TV before.
Yeah, of course, Manuel Neuer after the mistake in the Champions League as well. Obviously, he's talking about the future of the Bayern Munich coaching, Jan. Who's it going to be? De Zerbi now?
It's funny because you have to make a list just to remember who has rejected them. Alonso, Nagelsmann, Rangnick, Glasner, and now the last one is Roger Schmidt, so he is gone. So today Max Eberl was asked after the game. He said, I don't want to talk about coaches. And then the interviewer said, but could you, if I say that he is an Italian, would you say yes or no? And he said, yes, could he be an Italian? And then he said no. So De Zerbi is gone.
Good.
So De Zerbi is gone. That is the latest news from Munich. But the breaking news is that Bayern Munich will get a coach before the season starts. I've heard, we think.
Are you sure, Jan? Are you going to guarantee us?
Not at all. Not at all.
So, wait, did he mean that, though, that it won't be De Zerbi, or is that just a throwaway comment?
Well, I think Max Eberl, he took all out Italian coach, didn't he? Allegri, he took out. He shouldn't be Italian. The thing is now, boys, is that Bayern Munich has historically been one of the best run club in the world. And what is happening the last months is just embarrassing. You can't be able to get a coach mind you, whoever will take the job now, if the six want to reject him, he will be sixth choice. Can you imagine starting a job as a sixth choice in one of the biggest jobs in the world? And it seems that great Bayern, who is one of the best jobs you can have in football, can't get a coach. How embarrassing is that?
What are they saying about De Zerbi back in the UK, Don?
I was just thinking sixth choice, Dan. I think you've got your name written all over that job.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sixth choice and cheap.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know. And Jan said it's embarrassing.
Good insight, Don.
No, I mean, it's embarrassing for a club like Bayern Munich who are scrambling around for a manager when everyone's saying no. I mean, I still think it's an amazing project. Yes, they're miles behind Leverkusen this season, but the quality of squad that they've got, brilliant players that they've got, all they need is someone to come in, like a De Zerbi. If he comes in, organises them, puts them in a framework, gets them playing. They're still a talented bunch of players, and they have to improve on the shambles that they produced this season. But I think, like Jan's saying, I think you're looking around De Zerbi. I thought De Zerbi was nailed on for somewhere like Juve a couple of weeks ago, but apparently that's going to be Thiago Motta. I don't see De Zerbi in Naples. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe he might be for the Milan job. I think people will want him. I think what's happened, to De Zerbi from the start of the season till the end of the season, he's gone a little bit cold, where I think a lot of managers like Pep and like Klopp and like Xabi Alonso, these guys, I think you're a player, you really want to play for him. And I think the fans can warm to these types of managers. I don't think many warm to De Zerbi because he's cold. And I don't mean that as a negative, it just means he's very tactical. And he's not obsessed with what Jurgen Klopp does to Liverpool fans, or Xabi Alonso to Leverkusen, or Pep to Man City. So I think he'll take a bit of a break, but I mean, I expect him to be back in the summer.
But Dan, if I may say, I think that De Zerbi to Bayern is bad news for Bayern, is bad news for De Zerbi. Wow. De Zerbi, I don't think will survive 6 or 7 weeks, now I would say months at Bayern Munich, because he won't understand that politics. They said they didn't want him because his coaching staff is too big, and play out from the back. We saw Manuel Neuer trying that today. Can you see De Zerbi? How much time will he get to change the whole system of Bayern? And when Uli Hoeneß and Karl-Heinz Rummenigge are sitting on the balcony and looking down at this Italian trying to play out from the back, oh, that will be Muppet Show live on TV.
Shako, so when you talk, can you do that with your mouth really quickly? And then no one will notice what's going on with
That's a special skill.
I think that most definitely is. This is mad.
It is absolutely crazy. The number of big clubs in football that are without a manager, or there are rumors that the manager is going to be on the way out. I don't think I've seen it. And then all of a sudden, you have somebody like Roberto De Zerbi becoming available. All these vacancies, and not many top-level managers with any kind of experience, any kind of identifiable style to fill that void. Who knows not just who ends up at Bayern Munich, but Juventus. I know Don mentioned Thiago Motta. At one point this week, we were talking about Barcelona. We could just keep going on and on.
Yep.
I mean, to the point where Liverpool have filled their vacancy with Arne Slot, which just feels, well, on the face of it, felt underwhelming. But now, given everybody else's problems, you think, oh, well done. That's good work, Liverpool. I mean, how did we reach here?
Hello and welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. Kay Murray here in the studio alongside Craig Burley and Shaka Hislop, and all attention on the Premier League this weekend as it is going to go down to the final day. Who is going to win it, Manchester City or Arsenal? Just 2 points separating them at this point. The odds makers have City as the huge favourites to make it 4 Premier League titles in a row. They will be hosting West Ham. Arsenal host Everton, and we do have 2 former Arsenal players with us right now in Kieran Gibbs and Stuart Robson, one of whom will be devastated if Arsenal don't win it.
One of whom is banned from the ground.
Exactly.
Just let's get that out there now. We don't hide anything on this show, right? There's no secrets on this show.
No secrets at all. So because of that, let's go to Kieran first. Any hope at all, Kieran, for Arsenal from you?
Oh, there'll always be hope. There'll always be hope up until the final whistle's blown. But, you know, it's a shame that it's West Ham of all teams, I think. I think they're probably the worst final games in this situation to have, because, you know, it's not like West Ham would prefer Arsenal to win the league over Man City. And it's also a shame how things unfolded last week. I think no matter the outcome, it's a bit of a sour ending. But I refuse to let this painful title race mislead me from the fact that Arsenal have been outstanding this season. I think you can take nothing away from them. It's a proper team right the way through the club now. The way they've, you know, combined all aspects of the club. I think it's been fascinating from the owners with the commitment financially to the manager and what he's done with the squad, to the medical staff, you know, with keeping the players fit. You know, you can see how many teams find it hard to compete with Man City. So, yeah, I think it's still a proud season, an amazing season from the Gunners.
And that was a party political broadcast from the Arsenal. Yeah, you're going to get your wish, Kieran. You said all season, you've said you love to see Arsenal just been behind under the radar. That's certainly where they are. Come on, maybe a bit late though.
Yeah,
but you know, I'm
happy to take a double or quits, by the way, with Stevie if he wants it. Next season.
Anybody, that man's never winning a bet with anybody. Don't worry. You can throw anything on it. You can play any card for him. He'll snaffle it up. You know, there's something there in London.
It's not over.
You're absolutely right. It's not over. Kieran's talking about West Ham fans want Arsenal to win. We've just come off a week when Tottenham fans are saying, I mean, come on. I disagree a little bit, although it might have been tongue-in-cheek. The worst-case scenario is having Sheffield United, Burnley or Luton are all relegated. I mean, Luton are going to have to score like 15 goals, you know. So they're having West Ham in some sense, although I was looking back earlier on in my deep dive preparation for this show, as always.
Standard.
I think it was 2015 is the last time West Ham have been up to Manchester, the Blue Half, and got a victory. So it doesn't sort of bode, unless I've missed something, and I didn't have my glasses on, so I might have.
Well, they're broken anyway.
It doesn't bode well. However, if there's a side that can sit in and play deep and is used to doing that, it is West Ham, right? So it is far from over. I was fortunate enough to be at the Etihad when Aguero scored that late winner, right? I was there with Peter Drury that day. And I never thought walking up to Manchester, to the Etihad that morning, that it was going to be anything other than a cakewalk. A walk in the park. Man United were at Sunderland. They were probably going to win, but this is a foregone conclusion. Mancini's Man City are going to roll up. QPR were almost relegated, and they were going to hammer them. And QPR were down to 10 men. Joey Barton got sent off in the first half. And yet, it was, you call it squeaky bum time, I mean, it was unbelievable. So if you think it's just, there's nothing possible like that, then I think you would be wrong. Now, City are in the driving seat, there's no doubt about it. But the pressure, the situation, the moment, the frustrations, all these things that West Ham could do, possibly, they might not, I don't know, can play into it. If QPR can go there with as poor a team as they did and almost ruin this title for Man City, then West Ham can go and at least have a go.
I think the big difference with that Manchester City game and performance is the fact that this was their first Premier League title, pushing for that. And that brings an added pressure to City on the day, which they don't feel now. Now they are comfortable in everything about managing.
Yeah, but it's still not a case of just coming up.
To your point, we've seen West Ham do it. I mean, to lesser teams than Manchester City, just sit in and allow you possession. And we will hope to to hurt you on the break, whether it's through Michael Antonio or Gerard Bowen, through the passing of Paqueta. That's what West Ham have done all season long. That's where their successes have come from. Now, going to the Etihad, that won't change. They are happy to give Manchester City the ball. They'll sit deep, look for those opportunities, and maybe that frustrates Manchester City. But, you know, again, to give Kieran some hope, this is a long way from a foregone conclusion in itself.
Well, let's hear from Pep Guardiola on what he thinks about Sunday's opponent in West Ham. Here's what he had to say.
At the same time, we're busy? Absolutely. I had the feeling we'll be Aston Villa again. We would like to be in after 10 minutes 3-0 up, but it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. I saw enough games these 3 or 4 days at West Ham. In the few months ago, a few weeks ago, in the last game, and they have a few things you have to control, otherwise it will be difficult. So, but 2 days to prepare last game, and we are ready.
Are you convinced by that, Stuart?
I think West Ham could cause a problem. You know, Shaka just mentioned 3 players there, and they're the 3 players that are good on the counter. Antonio, I don't think he's a particularly good technical player, but he's got pace and power, and on his day he can cause defences problems. And Man City have had problems with counter-attacking teams on certain occasions. Gerard Bowen is another player that he can run in behind. He can cause problems if he's given enough room to run into. And Paqueta, he can pick out a pass. And I would take you back for West Ham many years ago when Alex Ferguson went to Upton Park. West Ham were already relegated. Manchester United needed to win the game. And Alex Ferguson said that West Ham's attitude that day was obscene because West Ham run themselves into the ground. I think they won the game by 1-0, and they outplayed and outrun Manchester United, who were playing for the title. That's the sort of club West Ham are. They can play well on some occasions. Other times when you think they're going to play well, they put in really drab performances, like they did against Liverpool in the League Cup, like they did in the FA Cup against Bristol City. But this is a game I think they want to play well in, and I think they might just cause Man City 1 or 2 problems. I still think City will win, but I think West Ham will give them a tough time.
It's not like West Ham have to go there and win. I mean, if you're Arsenal, you first thing is you need to take care of your own business. And if we're talking about a side that's almost in its holidays, Everton, you know, it's been a tough season for them, but they're out the relegation, all the point stuff is behind them. But, you know, if West Ham get a point, Arsenal, the likelihood is they're going to win in goal difference. So Arsenal have to make sure they take care of it. Can you imagine if somehow they drop points to Everton and Man City got beat? You know, you can't. They've got to make sure they take care of their own business first, and then they have to hope. That's the situation they're in. It's out of their hands. It's as simple as that. But it's far from dead, because they say if West Ham, if it's a 1-1 or a 2-2 and somehow manage to do it, they're back in the ball game. It's not the worst position to be in.
Kieran, are you confident that Arsenal can do their part of the job?
Yeah, I am. They'll be fully focused for the game. I don't think they'll be, they'll be trying not to watch City's result. But I mean, just going back to West Ham, I think Shaka's absolutely right. There's, anything can happen. My only issue with West Ham is they are susceptible to a hiding every now and then, and especially when they're, kind of on holiday. So it's, I still think City are going to do it, but I also think Arsenal will as well.
Kieran's just preparing for the worst, isn't he? He's just like, God, it's not happening for us. Let me just get my frustrations out.
Get it out of the way.
On Friday night.
It's David Moyes' last game as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
David Moyes has been, let's be honest, has done a good job.
He's been good.
He's done a really good job. Now, there's been I don't want to get into David Moyes, but there's been a frustration about the style. But you can't argue about positions and European trophies that West Ham have never had. But there's this, David Moyes has been around the game a long time, right? And he's focused on what he can do with his team. And he does not want to go out with his team getting a shellacking, right? And that's his final play as the manager of West Ham United before the new guy comes in. He just, if anybody thinks that he'll be not bothered because he's leaving, is hugely mistaken. There is professional pride at stake here. He will prepare his team the same way he always prepares in a professional manner, and he will be hoping he signs out. What better way for him to sign out and say, by the way, stability in the Premier League, European trophy, got some good players coming in, and we've just beaten Man City away in my final day. Thank you very much. That's how I'd want to go out as a manager if I'm going out. Now, telling the players that and getting them to buy into it is maybe a slightly different scenario, but I don't think we'll see an unprofessional team going to the Etihad. Not one bit. It's whether they can cope with the pressure that's going to come from this Manchester City side, because it's coming. We know that.
And this season, Stuart, Arsenal have taken it to the final day. What's impressed you most about them and their run?
Their understanding of what the manager wants. Some of their patterns of play are excellent. When you actually see them warm up on the training field, they carry out certain passing drills, and it's what they actually do in the game, in and around the box. I think they've got imagination. They're much harder working. I think Declan Rice has been a great signing for them. The two centre-halves have done a really good job. You know, and every time they take to the pitch, I expect them to play well. How they didn't play quite so well against Porto, how they didn't play quite so well against Bayern Munich, why they lost the game against Aston Villa, they're surprises to me, because over the course of the season, whether you like the way they celebrate wins, whether you like the way Arteta seems to make it all about himself, Arsenal at the moment are a very good side, and they're a club that are on the up at the moment. The fans are right behind the manager, the players are right behind the manager, the manager likes most of the players. He's made some good acquisitions in the transfer market, and he's made some good decisions about when to leave players out and when to bring players in. I think Arsenal have done a brilliant job this year.
Really impressive stats that we're looking at there, Craig, especially with the defence as well that you've seen in terms of goals allowed, like almost half as many as the season before.
I couldn't agree more what Stuart's just said. Look, Man City's dominance for me, and I mentioned this in the show the other day, yes, it's about quality superstar players, yes, but other clubs have shown that throwing money and bringing players in isn't just the answer. Man City's dominance, both in style and in the trophy-laden cabinet, is down a lot to the manager. And I think if we're talking about Arsenal here, they've manoeuvred themselves into a position where they're currently the second best team in England. It's close. Every facet of the team is working well. Yeah, they might need somebody who can lead the line a bit better, and there's always areas of your side. But you have to make sure, in my opinion, whether you're Liverpool, Arsenal, Villa, Spurs, Man United, whoever it is, that you're in a position when this Spanish manager leaves Manchester City to get in there. And because this City ability to steamroll the teams isn't always going to be there. They're going to lose De Bruyne, they're going to lose some of these senior players, they're going to lose their manager. It's coming. And when that comes, they're going to be weaker, not stronger, in my opinion. And I think Liverpool are maybe in that scenario as well. And I think it's important that you're ready to pounce. And for me, unless Arsenal do something absolutely stupid, when this City side starts to unravel, and it will at some point, you need to be there. And also, if you look at Arsenal's side, it's a relatively young side. So unless they do something and make some stupid decisions, they, for me, are in pole position, if City weaken, and I think they will, to get in there and arguably become the strongest team in the Premier League.
To your question, I think the most impressive thing I've seen from Arsenal in the course of this season is how this team maybe has grown or matured. And I'm talking Arteta, who I was very critical of earlier in the season. I think you've seen him settle down on the sidelines. I also think that when you look at other players in this squad, David Raya is, for me, is not the best goalkeeper in the league. I know the stats suggest otherwise. I'm not talking about stats, I'm just talking about talent, pound-for-pound goalkeepers. Yeah, he's been able to put up the numbers that he has. Kai Havertz is a player, a signing that we questioned a lot in the summer, yet he has matured into this team, into an integral part. Now, again, I think there are a lot of better players in the league, but he is at least delivered when needed, as needed for Arsenal. And that, for me, has been the most impressive thing about Arteta and how he's managed this whole campaign. How this team has steadily grown and gelled to a team that has now pushed Manchester City to the very last day of the season.
Having said all that, one word, who wins the title?
Manchester City.
Craig?
City.
Stuart?
City.
Kieran?
Well, I would just be silly not to say Arsenal.
What word?
Oh.
This one's been floating around a lot. So Bayer Leverkusen, we know this historic season that they're still having, already wrapped up the Bundesliga, 33 matches so far, 6 draws, not 1 loss, 50 unbeaten in all competitions as well. Is their run now under Xabi more impressive than the Arsenal Invincibles era?
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Listen, Bayer Leverkusen have got 3 games left in this season, and for all intents and purposes, we can call them three finals. Yes, they've already won the Bundesliga, but they've got 1 league game to go the entire campaign undefeated, albeit there are less league games in Germany than there are in England. They've got the Europa League final, and they've got the Pokal final. So you go 53, there's a possibility of going 53 games unbeaten, winning 3 trophies. Listen, as much as I appreciate what the Invincibles did back in, 2004, this is nowhere close. That is nowhere close, in my opinion, to what Leverkusen have been able to do, both domestically and in Europe. Okay, it's not the Champions League, it's 1 step below, but take nothing away from them and the run they've also been able to put together in the cup. I think it's all the more impressive when you consider exactly where Leverkusen were when Xabi Alonso took them over in October of 2022. I mean, they were. He came in for a reason, because Leverkusen were just far too close to the bottom 3, and all of a sudden finished in the European places and put together a season like one we've never seen before.
Absolutely stunning indeed. I agree with you 100% on that one. And still sticking with Leverkusen, because we know Xavi is still such a young manager making his way, and he has been doing very well. Now everybody wants him, including ties back to Liverpool and to Real Madrid. We know now that's not going to happen, at least for now, at least for next season, because he says that he's going to stay on at Bayer Leverkusen. But is he making a mistake? A lot of people seem to think he's making a mistake, that when these big opportunities come calling, you should go. What do you think?
Listen, I totally understand that sentiment, that it's not often Real Madrid and Liverpool and Bayern Munich come calling, let alone all at the same time. And you just wonder if those opportunities will be missed if he doesn't take one right now. But Xabi Alonso, as a player, as a man, you've kind of learned not to question him.
Yeah.
And he just oozes class in everything he has done as a player and as a manager. So while you could question his decision not to go to one of those big clubs, you can't doubt his decision, and that he made it in trusting his own instincts, in trusting that it was right to stay on at Leverkusen for another season, to experience Champions League football, to continue to grow as a manager. Because while this season has been absolutely incredible, like nothing we've seen before, as we've discussed, he probably thinks he's still growing as a manager. How do you deal with setbacks? How do you deal with injury crises? And the one thing that Leverkusen will give him is a whole lot of wiggle room to get things wrong if that's what happens. So he continues to grow as a manager, and I think you've also seen that in terms of the players and their signing on. Florian Wirtz, who was linked with similarly every single big club under the planet. And let's be honest, your time as a player is far shorter potentially than your time as a manager. But Florian Wirtz has said, I'm staying. Xavi's saying, I'm staying. I think the knock-on effect of Xabi Alonso staying on, we can't underscore.
Well, someone who's not staying where they're from, Kylian Mbappe, we know is probably the worst kept secret ever that he is.
He's going. Is that what you're going to say? Is that what it is?
We already know he's taking a pay cut, Shaka, to go to Real Madrid. I don't know if he's going to take that much of a pay cut to go to East London, but we shall see. So when he does get to Real Madrid now, that the feeling is that he will score more than 25 goals in his first La Liga season. Now, we have seen people like Jude Bellingham absolutely hit the ground running. Kylian Mbappe, more seasoned player. This is a generational talent, people will argue. So 25 plus goals for a season?
Yeah, I can see that. No question. I mean, the big question about Kylian Mbappe going to Real Madrid is where does he play? Because both he and Vinicius Jr. like to play on the left-hand side. I think Carlo Ancelotti figures that out in much the same way that he figured out Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo this season. Who thought we'd be talking about that front pairing as being well, I don't want to say the best in Europe, but potentially Champions League winners. Carlo Ancelotti has figured out what works for Real Madrid, and I think he'll do exactly the same. I will say that while Vinicius has kind of established himself during the course of this season as the best player on the planet during the course of this season, I still think that Kylian Mbappe is a more natural finisher than Vinicius Jr. So I think 25 goals is without question we're within reach for Kylian Mbappe.
All right, well, let's take the final hot take. And it's been so long since we've spoken about Man United, Shaka. So let's fling out a Man United one, right? Because they get everybody talking, good or bad. Here's one now that will probably get you thinking a little bit. Man United have not signed more than 5 successful players post Sir Alex Ferguson. Now, we've definitely dissected the fact that probably Manchester United's biggest problem in the last decade or so since Sir Alex Ferguson left was, I suppose, bad business in the transfer window. So have they not signed more than 5 players who you could deem successful?
Yeah, I'm struggling to think of 5 successful players at Manchester United over that period. I really am. You could probably throw out Bruno Fernandes, but then there'll be people who think otherwise. The others, the success stories, Marcus Rashford is an academy product. Kobe Mainu is an academy product. I'm going to say no. I mean, that's absolutely true that Manchester United simply haven't. But then here's the other side to that very coin. Jadon Sancho is well, we know that he wasn't a success for Manchester United, but I don't think anybody right now, especially after what we've seen during the course of this season for Dortmund, or during back half of this season, nobody, I think, argues that he's not a good player.
Yeah.
We saw that in Dortmund's run, and we may yet be talking about Jadon Sancho as a Champions League winner. Yet, for Manchester United, a team that may yet finish 8th in the Premier League, it wasn't good enough. How make that math work?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you break that down.
And I mean, you look at it too, because I know our colleague Mark Ogden recently did an article as well, just kind of ranking some of the signings. And you talk about players like Cristiano Ronaldo that ended horribly. Zlatan, I mean, I know injuries also had a little bit to do there too. You think of Alexis Sanchez, who I was so excited to get his jersey, that obviously did not work out. Cavani, who left and probably did. Look at even now.
All good players, by the way. All world-class players, by the way.
Rafael Varane now too, who is leaving, and you're just almost like, I want to be sad for this because we know the caliber of player. He's only 31 years old. But again, it's not the Real Madrid version of Varane. You talk about Angel Di Maria, Jadon Sancho, as you just mentioned, Daley Blind, etc. Players who United was almost a springboard for them to go elsewhere and get success.
Yeah, Daley Blind, by the way, who's half of a centre-back pairing for Girona, who may yet finish second in Spain. How, again, make the math for me, please. And here's the thing, all incredible players, and the only conclusion you can draw from that is that there's something wrong deeper down with Manchester United. You and I spoke on the weekend, Alexis, after United's game, and the leaking roof we just thought would just.
Said I just want to squeeze in one more hot take as well, because it kind of is related to Manchester United because it has to do with Chelsea. You know, I think United fans and Chelsea fans, especially this season, have loosely, I'll say this phrase loosely, but kind of been brothers in arms, because there's a lot of dysfunctional behavior going on both parts. But look at it now, and Chelsea are at least finishing the season as strongly as they can. Chelsea also have been accused of splashing money and not getting the results they've wanted, not doing very good business in the transfer window as well. But now the hot take is that Chelsea are, how they are now looking at the two clubs, more poised for success, at least in the near future, than United are.
Absolutely. And I think both Chelsea and Manchester United have issues in terms of profit and sustainability, in terms of moving players on. If I'm a buying club and interested in a player from either Chelsea or Manchester United, I'm not sure.
Of course, they didn't start just before in the midweek game. Now it's out towards the central left-hand side. Here is Santos. Long ball upfield, up towards that right flank. Momentum for DC United in the right edge of the penalty area. Look at the cutaway and drive in the central region, but the shot is deflected down to the midfield of Inter Miami on that in that defensive half. It's played back towards Marcelo Weingart on that left flank. Back towards Kremashi. Centrally towards Busquets at the midway point of the defensive half. As for DC United, of course, they've had an interesting run of form in recent games. Of course, they currently sit at 8th in the Eastern Conference themselves with a 4-1 loss against New York midweek at home. As they look to play the long ball upfield. Out towards that right-hand side, here is Marcelo Weingart. Just looking to race up the field. In fact, he's going to step very, very quickly. Now it's back with Tomas Aviles. Towards that central left-hand side, Nicolas Fleur crossing past halfway in towards Matias Rojas, but he's shouldered off the ball by Bartlett. Now it's out towards that right-hand flank. And it's a good challenge it was by Inter Miami down that right-hand side, but they did win the free kick back. No, it's going to be a free kick. In fact, it will be a throw-in towards Jordi Alba just past halfway on that left-hand side. It's rolled back towards Nicolas Fleur. Now back centrally in the centre circle for Tomas Aviles. Long ball out to that left flank, but there's no one in pursuit and he'll be out for a throw-in. Now towards that right-hand side, the throw-in taken, but DC United can't exactly bring it forward as Jordi Alba back laterally, this time for Busquets, interchanging passes with Gressel. Now back towards goal was Benteke, but he can't receive the long pass towards that central right-hand side. This time is Tomas Aviles. Central left-hand side, Nicolas Fleur just on halfway. The long ball from Alba towards that left-hand side. And here is Jordi Alba, cross towards the byline, but he couldn't keep it in play. It was a great ball over the top. It looked like it was for Nicolas Fleur, but unfortunately for Inter Miami, they can't exactly force anything forward in that instance. And he's just having a bit of a chat with the referee. I think he wasn't sure that exactly stepped out of play. But a bit unfortunate for them on that occasion. Alex Bono now will send it forward. I think it was actually being called for offside. The overlapping run is into the attacking half of DC United, just beyond the penalty area, but it's picked up back by Inter Miami this time. It is Marcelo Weingart. Midway point of the defensive half. This time is Tomas Aviles that was at central left-hand side. Here is Marcelo Weingart. Now Jordi Alba. Julian Gressel is with Busquets. Midway point of the defensive half now is a Tomas Aviles. And a long ball upfield, but it's now into the feet of DC United out towards that central left-hand side. Here is Pedro Santos. Midway point of the defensive half for DC United, and at midway point of the defensive half once more. And then it looks back to goal. This time, racing down that left-hand flank was Santos, but he couldn't reach to it, and it's in the defensive half of Inter Miami. So we can see Gerardo Martino, of course, cutting a very interesting figure at the moment. Obviously, a very intriguing state of play for him at the moment. With Inter Miami, of course, at the draw midweek. Lot to play for, though, today. Or tonight, of course, a late kickoff. It's been temperatures at top of 32 degrees Celsius here in Miami as Messi plays it back into the centre circle. Here is Nicolas Frio. Towards that central right-hand side is Messi with the first touch to find Kramashi. But it unleashes Messi looking to go forward. A long ball over the top. Can't find him, but it's into the arms of Alex Bono. And now we'll see Alex Bono take. Towards the central right-hand side. Now it's with DC United in the attacking half. This time Pedro Santos, midway point of the defensive half down that left-hand side. It's well defended by Marcelo Weingart, but Benjamin Kramashi picks up on that central right-hand side. Drawn central in towards Messi just inside the defensive half. Once again, Pedro Santos has been a formidable player for DC United as he wins back possession, but it's won back by Marcelo Weingart, midway point of the defensive half on that central left-hand side. Of course, Bono, the former Toronto FC goalkeeper, was at the club for 7 years. From 2015, and then in search of, I guess, regular football, has now joined DC United and well and truly is the number one now after making 10 appearances last season in the league. It's in towards the midway point of DC United's attacking half. They do win that possession now in the centre circle, racing forward. This time is Di Pietro, but it's Marcelo Weingart who closes him down in the central region. Now it's Kramashi looking to create space on that right flank. And it's with Suarez back to goal now, back to Weingart. Now at the midway point of the defensive half for Inter Miami, this time through Sergio Busquets. It's with Gressel now, just inside the defensive half on the central left-hand side. Looks further left and does find Jordi Alba. Falls a check and play it back towards Marcelo Weingart. In fact, should I say Nicolas Frio, Messi with the first touch towards that left flank. Unleashes Gressel. Short towards Suarez in the central region. Is back towards the central left-hand side. Matias Rojas now. Rojas driving inside. Looks towards that right flank. It's Marcelo Weingart picking up on that right-hand flank. He's going to play it back towards Busquets. It's with Messi, but he can't exactly flick it towards goal. It's back with Nicolas Frio. Now it's with Sergio Busquets. And a brilliant piece of work to find Suarez out towards that right-hand side. Here's Marcelo Weingart inside the box. It goes for Inter Miami, but they can't keep it in play. And it'll be out for a goal kick. The last touch came off a DC United player. Kramashi looked to whip it in past the byline, but to no one in pursuit. Now we will see. I think it looks like to be a goal kick. Or will it be a corner? I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, it will be a corner. Messi to deliver from this right-hand corner flag on his left foot. Messi delivers to the near post, but it's flicked away by DC United. Now as Matez clicked. Now on that central right-hand side. Cuts away. And looks to play a long ball forward upfield. It's a flick on by Di Pietro. Benteke providing support, but he gives it away by virtue of a free kick that Inter Miami have conceded. Now towards Busquets. Kramashi just inside his defensive half. Towards Aviles across the face. It's back towards Aviles at the midway point of Inter Miami's defensive half. Back with Lionel Messi. In the centre circle now, Nicolas Frio. Tomas Aviles. Inside the centre circle, back towards Nicolas Frio. Short towards Suarez, midway point of the attacking half. That's Kramashi. It's with Busquets. Miami exchanging passes. Approaching the penalty area on that left flank. This time is Jordi Alba. He's approaching the byline. Looks to loft a cross in towards the box. It's flicked away by Santos once again. And then so too by DC United once more. And a good touch from Busquets. Right in the air. Looked to play towards that right flank where Luis Suarez was in pursuit, but it wasn't to be. And we will now see a goal kick for DC United. Well, this was a very deft touch from Sergio Busquets. Isn't that something? A long ball played up forward now into the defensive Inter Miami now. It's back towards... Oh, goodness gracious, it's been given away as a free kick. It looks like Sergio Busquets has received a bit of a knock, looks like, as he plays it just on halfway towards the midway point of the attacking half. Now back towards Busquets inside his defensive half. Towards the left flank, here is Jordi Alba, short towards Suarez. Now laterally finds Benjamin Kramashi out towards that right-hand side. Here is Marcelo Weingart. Short towards Kramashi at the midway point of the attacking half is Rojas. Miami looking to create space in the middle, but it's picked off again. This time by Klich. And now towards that left-hand side it was, but it's picked off by Tomas Aviles. Plenty of MLS action tonight across the competition, not just here at the Chase Stadium, of course. Currently have 7 games simultaneously going on. Nashville taking on Atlanta United, that is 1-1. Of course, that result finalised. Cincinnati 1-0 up against St. Louis as the ball is played out of play towards that left-hand side. New England have given away a red card, but it's 0-0 and them against Philadelphia. Toronto up 3-0 against Montreal. Charlotte 0-0 against the LA Galaxy, and the New York Red Bulls trail 1-0 to New York City in the New York Derby. Now towards that right-hand side, this time DC United looking to race forward, driving to a central area. This time is Gerald Stroud looking towards Benteke on the edge of the area, cutting onto his right, looking to break space, but he's forced to turn away. Benteke once more gets a strike away, but it's off the foot of an Inter Miami player, but it's still in their defensive half towards that right-hand touchline. Kramashi playing it back towards Weingart. He's forced to check and play it back to his centre-back in Tomas Aviles. Now towards that central left-hand side now. Here is Jordi Alba past halfway. Briefly was Jordi Alba. It's Gressel in the deeper region for Inter. In the centre circle now, Busquets with Messi. Messi looking to drive towards his left-hand side, and a good touch it was from Rojas. Back towards Messi. Messi's driving through on goal. This with Suarez with his first-time ball, but it's picked off eventually, and DC United will have it towards that right-hand side in their defensive half. But it looks like a player is down, and I think it might be Bartlett. In fact, should I say, it will be Jackson Hopkins who's on the deck. Hopkins, of course, still 19 years of age, of course. Also part of the feeder team, Ludon United. The USL, he's had quite the goal-scoring feat. 6 goals in 33 games. As a midfielder, is a pretty good return, you'd have to say. He's the 18th homegrown player in the club's history at DC United, and he's now an ever-present fixture of this first team. Now towards that right-hand side, past halfway, DC United playing it back of a step. It's with Herrera. Now towards that central left-hand side, here is McVeigh playing the switch towards the right flank to no one in pursuit, but it's eventually headed back towards Drake Callender. It just has to come slightly out of the 6-yard box to retrieve and roll it towards the right-hand side. Tomas Aviles now back towards Nicolas Flair. This time, here is Tomas Aviles. Now Nicolas Flair, central left-hand side. Jordi Alba. Looking to flick it now towards Tomas Aviles in the centre circle. Oh, he was looking to step away, but he's now charged down in the centre circle once more. This time Nicolas Flair out towards that left-hand flank. Here is Jordi Alba. Short towards Gressel. And plays it back towards Nicolas Flair on that central left-hand side. Back towards Busquets. And they're looking to shape it around that left-hand touchline. Here is Busquets in the central region with the switch out towards that right flank. But there's no one in pursuit, and it'll be run to the trusty feet of Alex Bono. So was Benteke looking to twist and to weave, and it looks like it just hit the leg of Cello Weingart, who looks to be in a bit of pain. It looks like his right ankle maybe, or his right foot of somewhat, played down the line down that left-hand side for DC United. Benteke receives, but can't exactly bring it down. A couple of headers exchanged, this time Hopkins as well in the centre circle, and it's just a bit of a karate kick away from Matias Rojas into the defensive half for Inter Miami. Cello Weingart still limping a little bit down that right-hand side, but the ball is now with Nicolas Frio in the centre of defence for Inter Miami in the centre circle now towards Tomas Aviles, out towards that right-hand side. Messi picks up past halfway, plays a long ball forward towards Suarez. It looks like he was in an offside position. In fact, he was, according to our assistant on the near side. Not exactly successful in their pursuit on that specific occasion. The goal kick taken by, well, the free kick, should I say, taken by Bono, upfield towards Benteke. Good first touch. He chested down on that left-hand side, back towards Santos. Now centrally towards Mateusz Klich. It's Klich now in the centre circle, looking towards that right flank. Can it be touched down? He can't by Herrera. Aaron Herrera more specifically. And there will be a throw-in now. Nicolas Frio, central right-hand side this time, is Tomas Aviles. Now it's towards Kremashi, back to goal. And he's looking to weave his way past. He does eventually, but Cello Weingart has to play it back in towards the feet of Tomas Aviles now, who's in the midway point of his defensive half. This time Nicolas Frio in the centre circle. Towards that left flank, here is Julian Gressel on that left-hand touchline, back towards Jordi Alba, who's very close to him, and it's played back and all the way into the defensive half this time with Drake Callender. See the rain coming down now in Miami. It's just quite tropical weather, one will have to say. The switch played towards the left-hand flank. Now towards Luis Suarez. This calls for offside flag, and that has been called nonetheless. Mateusz Klich. 6 assists this season, 4 in his last 5 matches. The former Leeds United man. Of course, his Leeds are firmly in the, well, dare I say, the promotion hunt in the English Championship. They'll now play in the playoff final. Huge amount of rain on the pitch now. The long-range strike on goal does arrive eventually from DC United, but no one in particular from Santos. And the rain is just pummeling down here in Miami. I wonder how the pitch will hold up exactly. It's in the midway point of the defence now. Up towards Luis Suarez, back to goal, but Klich picks up just on halfway out towards that right-hand side. Long ball forward this time towards Benteke. He can't receive in the midway point of the defensive half, but it's picked up again by DC United, with Benteke back towards Busquets. Cello Weingart on the perimeter of the area. This time is Tomas Aviles. Now it's with Julian Gressel, it's with Messi, poking it towards that left-hand flank. There's Cello Weingart in towards Messi in the attacking half of Inter, looking to race forward, but he's closed down eventually by DC United. Now towards that right-hand side, here's Cello Weingart just on the halfway line. Plays it centrally towards Tomas Aviles. In fact, it was Sergio Busquets in the centre circle. Frio, a nice touch with Kremashi out towards that left flank. Here is Jordi Alba driving infield. It's towards Suarez, leaves it initially, but it's picked off by Hopkins, and he gives away the free kick. So this is an enormous opportunity for Inter Miami to potentially strike from this position. Presents an opportunity that will be worth salivating, that is to be certain. Here we go. looks like a yellow card as well to Birnbaum for his indiscretion on this occasion, but it looks like it'll be perhaps Messi to deliver. The weather's pummeling down here in Miami. It's absolutely nasty at the moment. It's ridiculous at the moment. As Birnbaum goes into the book. Messi standing over this one now. Here is Lionel Messi, about 5 yards out from the penalty area in a central left region, but it's more definitely central for Messi to potentially strike from on this occasion. We've seen Matias Rojas do it in the past. Can Messi be the one to fashion one in from long range, perhaps 21 minutes in? Messi on his left foot. Messi to deliver for Inter Miami. Could he be the saviour? It's Lionel Messi straight into the wall. It's picked up again by Messi, but he looks towards that left-hand side. And it's now in the midway point of the attacking half for Inter. Messi towards Jordi Alba. Alba looking to play an incisive pass, but it's picked off by Herrera. And it's inside the defensive half for DC United up that right touchline, but it's intercepted again by Sergio Busquets on that right flank. And Jordi Alba's in quite some pain holding his left leg. We'll see as to what they can fashion here, but yeah, Jordi Alba is in some pain. Just the rain is pummeling down now. You can barely see the players. This match could definitely get very ugly. This is certainly something. That is to be very sure. There is certainly a lot of rain here. I'm not exactly sure why hopefully the drainage should be okay, you'd have to say, but that is a very intriguing thing to say at the very least. Now towards that right hand side, hits time in DC United's attacking half. It's intercepted by Nicolas Freire out for a corner on that right hand flank. It's like a lot of thunderstorms around Florida. And it's also 28 degrees, so isn't that something? But the fans, obviously, with the lack of, dare I say, shade as well, and lack of protection over their heads, they're going out strong, and you have to respect that. The delivery now from DC United now. And looks like the referee's going to have a chat to some players. The jerseys are just rain-soaked. You do have to empathise with everyone here at the Chase Stadium. On this left-hand side, it's delivered in towards the centre, but it's Nicolas Freire who heads it out towards the central region. Jordi Alba inside the defensive half. Matias Rojas now looking to drive towards Messi. Still inside his defensive half on that. That's just a brilliant piece of skill. And Messi's going to stride forward, but the heavy touch does arrive eventually. Gressel just on halfway is Messi. We'll see how the pitch exactly deals with the amount of rain, but you can already see a lot of patches, as we do see now. Benteke looking to stride towards goal. He has a heavy touch, and Naviles brings him down about 25 yards out from goal. And he goes to ground, and we'll see Inter Miami look to deliver a defensive performance, you'd have to say, because Benteke is hacked down, the former Belgian international, Liverpool man as well, and did have a very good run of form in the Premier League at one point with the likes of Aston Villa and also Crystal Palace. Of course, now at 33 years of age, he's still has the quality and the poise to deliver. Had a great campaign last season with 14 goals in 31 games in the MLS. This season, 11 from 11, so he's obviously almost matched that goal scoring form already. It looks like the rain has subsided, which is good at the very least. And there will be... Oh, looks like Click was going to take it, but it is taken eventually. It's right into the wall. It was initially from Herrera. And another free kick given away by Kremashi out towards that right-hand side. And it looks like he will be possibly given a stern talking to by the referee. But it doesn't look like anything will be given as of yet at the moment, at the very least. Well, it looks like, yeah, you can see Kremashi just bundling over Jared Stroud. And he's not too happy, the 19-year-old. As it does find its way for a corner yet again. And Herrera's on the deck as well. Players just dropping like flies at the moment, Aaron Herrera. He's been quite the presence for DC United. For quite a while now, he's been a key figure in the MLS, the Mexican-born man. New Mexico, should I say, born man. Of course, represents Guatemala at international level despite having a US cap to his name already. No friendly, a 7-0 win over Trinidad and Tobago. Started off his career with the likes of the Real Salt Lake, in which he made over 120 appearances. Clipped towards the back post, but it's well caught by Drake Callender. And Callender now will roll it towards Benjamin Kremashi inside his defensive half on that right-hand side. Kremashi assessing his options and looks towards the central left-hand side. Nicolas Frio. 28 minutes gone in this contest, out towards that left flank. Here is Jordi Alba. Long searching ball forward into towards Lionel Messi perhaps, but it's deflected away by DC United with a backwards header out for a corner on that right-hand side. Haven't really seen any distinct efforts on goal as of yet from either opposition, but this time Messi to deliver. Messi towards the near post, but it's cleared all the way towards that left-hand side for DC United. Now it's with Jordi Alba. Towards that right-hand side, Gressel. Midway point of the defensive half is Jordi Alba out towards that right-hand side, Gressel. Stepping in, looking towards Kremashi. He's bundled over by a DC United player, but he's racing upfield now down this left-hand side. Here's Di Pietro. Or Coup Di Pietro, as one would say. It's played back into the defensive half of EC United, and Luis Suarez providing a lot of pressure upon Santos, out towards the central right-hand side for DC United in their defensive half. They played back towards Birnbaum. Looks further right. Now back into midfield as Hopkins out towards that right-hand touchline. They play it back of a step towards Bartlett. He looks to play a cheeky ball upfield. And it's headed back by Busquets out towards that right-hand side for a throw-in. And a yellow card for Matias Rojas. I'm not entirely sure what that's been given for, but maybe just dissent, who knows. But plenty of cards being dished out early on. Birnbaum, Benteke. Now Matias Rojas in the book. Certainly have seen stranger things in this competition. It's Benteke back to goal. Looking towards that right flank. Approaching the right edge of the area, but it's well intercepted. And they do give away the foul. In fact, it was Jared Stroud who just imposed himself a little bit too much. And Stroud, yeah, just clipping the legs on that occasion. The former St. Louis FC man played his college ball at Colgate Raiders. The two sides taking drinks, of course. The weather incredibly hot in Miami today. In Florida, it's a top of 29 at the moment. 32 today, Celsius. And when you add rain to it, it certainly creates a mix. Not worth salivating, probably to dread over, to be honest. But nonetheless, that is the state of play at the moment. Look at the MLS fixtures at the moment, what's currently going on across the grounds, of course. All the games kicked off a little bit earlier. Here in Miami, we had a delay due to the severe thunderstorms and also hot weather. And we'll go around the grounds. New York City 1-1 with the New York Red Bulls. Charlotte 0-0 against the LA Galaxy. Toronto 3-0 up against Montreal in that Canadian derby. New England trail 1-0 up against the Philadelphia Union. Cincinnati lead 1-0 against St. Louis. Focalise on another player for DC United. The player has been fairly involved. Has been Pedro Santos down this left-hand side. Has also drived into central positions when required, but the Portuguese international is certainly quite the discussion for DC United, who picked him up from the Columbus Crew following a 6-year stint there. A one-time under-19 international for Portugal. He's had a very esteemed and established career at the age of 36 now. Spent time at Braga as well, including the likes of Vitória Setúbal. And was a winger at one point and certainly demonstrated his abilities whilst at Casapia with 25 goals in 39 appearances. We've won to 17 goal season in the 4th division of Portugal. A rapid rise for him, and pretty good one at that. Almost Sporting Lisbon youngster, just on the halfway touchline, is with Marcelo Weingart looking to race towards that right flank, and he can't touch it inside once more, but this time it'll be Pedro Santos who gives it away and is quite upset with the call that has been given by our referee. Just inside the defensive half on that right-hand side is with Aviles. Now it's back towards Gressel. Into the centre circle is Nicolas Frio. Towards his left flank is with Jordi Alba. Incisive ball into the centre. It was Luis Suarez. And now it's with Gressel looking to progress the ball upfield. It's with good muscle movement from Busquets. Now Messi approaching goal. Towards his left flank, it's with Alba looking to square it, but it's into the feet of Mateusz Klich. And it'll be cut out by DC United in the net defensive half now. Towards that right-hand side. Right-hand touchline. Long ball up the line. It's picked up nicely by Inter, who put a sliding effort forward, and now it's in the defensive half. This time it's with Kramashi approaching the centre circle. And plays it into the centre circle where Busquets is waiting. Messi tracking back into the centre circle, back with Busquets. Nice little 1-2 touch. Busquets back towards Messi in a central area, weaving past several defenders and unleashing Jordi Alba on that left-hand side. Across the face of goal it goes. But it's intercepted by McVeigh out towards that left flank for Inter Miami to take a throw in about 10 yards out, or 15 yards out, you'd say, from the corner flag. But I think it's been given as offside as Jordi Alba once again not timing his run in the best way. Did see Luis Suarez in the centre, but it's with McVeigh out towards that right flank that really caused the issue. And Jordi Alba isn't too pleased himself. It's out towards that right-hand side. Nicolas Frio now towards Kremashi, midway point of the defensive half with Busquets. Back towards Calendar, central right-hand side of the defensive half for Inter Miami. Midway point of the defensive half now, approaching halfway. Chelo Weingart checks, goes back towards Kremashi. Looking to flick it. Was Matias Rojas, but he's brought to ground by Jackson Hopkins. In the centre circle, Gressel out towards that left flank. It's back towards Gressel, just past halfway. Plays it back into the defensive half. Nicolas Frio now into the centre circle. This time is Tomas Aviles. In the centre circle once again is Nicolas Frio. Looking towards the midway point of the attacking half on that left-hand side now. It's with Jordi Alba. Now it's with Nicolas Frio. Attempting to switch towards that right flank. And it was briefly headed by Santos, but it's kept in play by Weingart. About 10 yards out from the right corner flag. Throws it in towards Kremashi, but it's off a DC United player. Thrown back towards Busquets. Central right-hand side. Rolled square, this time towards Messi. On the perimeter, cutting inside. Messi still going on his left. Charged down by so many DC United players. It's eventually cut out now with Weingart. And DC United still stepping forward, but now it's out towards that left-hand side and racing forward. This time is Cul Di Pietro driving into a central region, looking towards his left-hand side. This time it's Stroud across the face. It's intercepted by Inter Miami players, and this time it's out towards Benjamin Kremashi down that right flank. Up in towards the central region. This time Luis Suarez is back to goal and gives away the foul. And now towards that left-hand side, takes a free kick straight away. Jordi Alba crossing past halfway on that left flank. Short towards Luis Suarez in the centre. Back towards Messi. Messi short with Rojas. Interchanging passes very kindly. It's Rojas towards Suarez, and he's brought to ground on the edge of the area. Just beyond the D. And a free kick for Miami. Right bang slap centre. Well, this is a crucial opportunity for Inter to potentially get themselves the opener. And DC United manager Troy Lesesne fairly young American coach, only 40 years of age, had a brief stint in charge of the New York Red Bulls, departing with the club in May of 2023. Was Gerard Struber, and then obviously was not renewed in November of 2023. Lionel Messi now. Beyond the D. Messi, a name on a million backs. Messi on the name of the backs of all those here at the Chase Stadium. On his left foot, it's Lionel Messi right into the wall yet again. Now it's with Marcelo Weingart. Long ball out towards that left flank. It's with Gressel with the initial header, and then in the box it was Busquets, but it's cleared out towards Kremashi down in the midway point of the attacking half. This time Marcelo Weingart's overlapping. It does provide the option. Laterally in place with the penalty area. And looking to drive right towards the byline, and no one in pursuit, and Kremashi just plays it out of play. That will be a goal kick. Unfortunately for Inter, they can't exactly succeed on this occasion. Strong header from a DC United player. I think it was Birnbaum, in fact, but into the wall at that. Very intriguing nonetheless. And then the clearance from Alex Bono. He slips on the deck whilst trying to get it clear. It's out towards that left-hand side, but it's going to be a throw-in now for DC United, this time with Herrera. ...40 minutes gone in this contest. Thrown him back towards Hopkins. Back to goal is Click. Right-hand touchline. It's still in their attacking half, DC United. Back to goal is Benteke. 5 yards out from the area. Racing through, but can't beat past the Miami defence. Hopkins heads it down. Midway point of the attacking half of DC United. Long ball up forward by Herrera. It's cut back on the right edge of the area this time. And the shot does arrive from DC United through Cool Di Pietro. That's not remotely going to pierce the goal or pierce any corner. Theodore Cool Di Pietro, of course, 22 years of age, should I say. So maybe cheaply give it away. Came through their youth academy and did well at Ludon United. Just the one goal in the MLS this season for him. Really broke into the team after assisting Benteke and then scoring himself in matchday 1 of last season. Now towards that right-hand side. Now this time is Herrera checking back. Midway point of the defensive half this time. Hopkins playing it back on just on halfway. Now towards that right flank. Now it's Jared Stroud dropping into midfield. Right-hand touchline once more for DC United. Then they'll play it back into the centre circle just across as Birnbaum. Plays it back to his goalkeeper now. Just in the deep. And a long ball forward from Bono. And it's right into the defensive Inter Miami. Nicolas Frio now at the midway point of the defensive half on that central region. Looks towards the right flank as Chelo Weingart. And Aviles, midway point of the defensive half. This time is Nicolas Frio once more. Into the centre circle is Gressel. Now Frio out to that left flank. And Gressel with a switch to that right-hand side now is Marcelo Weingart. Just past halfway is Thomas Aviles into the centre circle. Is Julian Gressel out towards that left-hand side now. It's Nicolas Frio now with Gressel. Busquets exchanging passes, but DC United can't get it clear again. And it's Alba who just can't keep it in exactly. Nicolas Frio now towards Gressel. Inside the defensive half, that central left-hand side. Once more, Inter Miami looking to just compose themselves, but they haven't really had a genuine effort on goal that's remotely troubled Alex Bono. Just the 2 shots so far compared to DC United's 5. And the 1 save from Inter Miami. It's with Kramashi, a brilliant line-splitting pass. Kramashi through on goal. A great save for Bono. It evaded some of the DC United players in the defensive region. The long ball's played out towards that left flank for Benteke. He receives down that left-hand touchline, but can't keep it in play, and a player is down for United. And a great ball from Jordi Alba. Just 2 DC United players attempted to get ahead to it, but just completely made a meal of it. And a long ball is played upfield, but to no one in pursuit. Now it's with the goalkeeper in Bono. He will hold now and take his time. Past halfway, the backwards backheel flick. Benteke Click. Now in the attacking half for DC United towards that left-hand side now. Rolled square, but no one is there to meet it. Back to goal now towards that left-hand side. Racing upfield. Matias Rojas. Oh, he bundles over a player. And it's going to be given to DC United, who are going to now take it upfield. It's Bartlett who's been bundled over. Now we will see Inter Miami look to defend this set piece. Quite some way out from goal. Down towards that right-hand side. They looked into the fashion one into the middle once more, but no one is there to meet it again. Headed upfield briefly by DC United into the penalty area, but it's headed back by Miami. 3 minutes of added time in this first half. Two sides exchanging headers, but it's still firmly inside into Miami's defensive half now on this central right-hand side. It's with Messi. He's going to play the long switch, and with a neat flick on from Gressel, could see Miami away down that left-hand channel. And a great ball out towards that left flank. Racing forward is Rojas inside the area on that left-hand side. Can't get the strike away. And it's into the arms of Alex Bono. Trusty arms of Alex Bono. One could say. One could say. Now at the midway point of the defensive half this time for DC United. Just inside the defensive half this time. Click out towards that central right-hand side. Playing it back. And with a long switch towards the left flank. It's Marcelo Weingart looking to get a touch to it. Can't do so. Steps inside and evades the press from DC United, but it's intercepted eventually by Santos into their attacking half towards Benteke in the central regions, further towards Click. Now it's with McVeigh, central left-hand side. Now it's with Santos. Slightly towards Jackson Hopkins, who slips on the deck, but Kramashi's going to win out. And the two United States under-23 internationals, one of them impending, you'd have to say, in the form of Jackson Hopkins, is going to be given a talking to here. Hopkins and Kramashi just going at it in the midfield for DC United. Just past halfway for Nicolas Frio. In the centre circle now is with Luis Suarez. And a long run forward this time. A great dashing run from Cool Di Pietro down this left-hand touchline. Driving into a more central area. It looks to flick it into the box for Benteke. Can't get ahead to it. And Nicolas Frio, stepping in once more. And that's long-range strike on goal is not met by anyone. Now towards his right flank once more for DC United. Ball flicked in towards the area, but no one is there to meet it. And it looks like we'll just see this out in this first half. So Marcelo Weingart down that right hand. point at the defensive half for DC United. Playing it back towards their goalkeeper in Bono. With a long clearance out to that left flank. Unable to be touched inside by Inter, and they will see it out for a throw-in. We'll now see the throw-in be taken by, looks like at least, Pedro Santos. Now at the midway point of the defensive half this time. Nicolas Fleer. Now it's towards Fleer once more. In the centre circle, just inside halfway, is with Busquets looking out towards that right-hand flank. Now Marcelo Weingart. The switch eventually does arrive from Inter Miami out towards this left flank. Alba with the first touch towards the left edge of the area this time. Initially was Matias Rojas. It's with Alba looking to roll it square, but it's intercepted by DC United just on the perimeter of the area, and a call for a potential penalty is waved away as off the ball, Luis Suarez is brought to ground. It's back with Inter Miami in their defensive half. But it looks like there's been a free kick awarded to DC United, so there we go. One of those games here so far. Very contentious and momentous occasion for DC United. If they can secure a victory against Inter Miami, the greatest of starts for them this season, as the ball is lofted all the way into the penalty area from the defensive half. Miami do get it clear into the centre circle. And now they look to race forward. In fact, it's not quite in their centre circle. It's in the defensive half as a yellow card is awarded to a DC United player. I think that might be, by the looks of it, McVeigh, who goes into the book with his indiscretion. Just clipping the ankle of Sergio Busquets. There's plenty of yellow cards handed out for sure. Midway point of the defensive half. It's at Nicolas Fleer, past halfway towards the left-hand touchline. It's with Jordi Alba. Plays it back onto the halfway line as Fleer. And with a brilliant switch to the right flank. But it's intercepted by Santos, who's been unbelievable today. So to cut inside and drive into a central area. And striding forward is Hopkins. Looking forward for Benteke, but it's with Kremashi now, who picks up in the midway point of the defensive half. Out towards his right-hand side on the right-hand touchline. Drawn in central towards Suarez. He's in the centre circle. And it's a messy, poor pass. It's picked up by DC United once more. And now Aviles out towards Luis Suarez. Messi back to goal. Suarez out towards the left-hand flank. Stepping in a central area is Jordi Alba. About 10 yards out from goal. 10 yards out from the penalty area, should I say. Picked off by DC United. Back to goal was Benteke briefly, but he's in an offside position. Now the free kick is taken. In the centre circle is Sergio Busquets. Out towards the central right-hand side. It's with Kremashi. Back towards Busquets. It's up with Julian Gressel, looking towards the central left-hand side. Midway point of the attacking half for Inter Miami this time. Gressel shifting it across towards Busquets. Messi in a tight angle, looking to unleash Alba on that left flank. It's intercepted by DC United, and Alex Bono will clear it out towards that left flank for Miami to pick up, but now DC United pick up on their right-hand side. Click towards the right-hand touchline. Looking to receive in board was Jared Stroud initially, but he's beaten off the ball by Julian Gressel. And Busquets back at the defensive half for Inter. It's with Tomas Aviles. Argentinian youth international. In the centre circle, now it's picked off by DC United, and a strong body challenge from Suarez. It's waved away. Into feet is Matias Rojas. Approaching the area across towards Messi, but he can't find space within the D. And now clicked. Central right-hand side and racing forward this time is DC United out towards his right-hand side. Jared Stroud approaching the right edge of the area. Stroud shifting it back towards Herrera. Incisive towards Stroud with the overlapping run. Cross-centered, but it's going to fall nicely for Busquets. Still with DC United in the midway point of their attacking half towards his right-hand side. It's Herrera lofting one into the middle. There is Benteke, hits the arm potentially of Weingart, but no, it'll be out of play, out for a goal kick. But it looks like he would have been offside anyway. And yes and no, it will be a corner at least. And it's delivered towards the back post by Aviles, who gets it clear. And Herrera flicking it towards the back stick once more. Bit of commotion towards his left-hand side. The cross eventually does come towards the back post. A fantastic chance for DC United with Jared Stroud, but his initial strike just goes left. So unfortunate. So near yet so far. Midway point of the defensive half for DC United now. It's Matthäus Klick towards the left flank. A good touch towards his left-hand side. Rolled square towards Benteke. No player in pursuit now. Tomas Aviles. To Busquets. Towards the right flank is Messi, stepping inside. And Messi plays it towards Julian Gressel. Towards Busquets. Now it's back with Gressel. Now towards the left flank. Past halfway is Matias Rojas. It's with Alba with a brilliant flick. Rojas, 10 yards out from the penalty area. Towards the left edge of the penalty area. And gets a strike on goal, but very low driven out towards the left-hand side. Matias Rojas looking to provide a much ever-present moment for Inter Miami. The Paraguayan, who's had a great start to life in Florida. 3 goals in his first 5 matches in the MLS. Flicked on by Benteke. It was flicked back by Stroud after a throw-in. 5 games if you include this one, however. Now towards the right-hand side. Here is Tomas Aviles. Just beyond halfway, back with Aviles. Nicolas Freire in the centre circle. Looking towards Gressel down that left flank. Alba towards Gressel. Now to Tomas Aviles. Looking towards Suarez, and a great ball, a great first time ball. It was initially towards Benjamin Kramashi, but to no one in pursuit. And a long clearance from Bono. Click. Now towards his left-hand side. This time it is Jordi Alba, left-hand side, midway point of the defensive half. Now it's towards Nicolas Freire. Aviles. Now back towards Freire at the midway point of the defensive half for Inter Miami. Past halfway down this left flank. He's with Julian Gressel. Jordi Alba. It looks like Robert Taylor is going to be prepared to come on. Messi, of course, missing the midweek game and probably due to injury of the sorts. I think it was a bit of a knee issue that Gerardo Martino identified. He did train all week, though, however. So just a bit of load management for Lionel Messi. Busquets. Long ball forward out to that right flank as Marcelo Weingart checking back, midway point of the attacking half of Weingart. He plays it back towards Aviles in the centre circle. This time is Nicolas Fleer. Past halfway. Central left-hand side is Gressel. Left-hand touchline. Jordi Alba looking to play a ball in field for Suarez, but unable to be picked off by Miami. And Mateus Klick will play back towards DC United. Klick in the defensive half, looking towards that right-hand flank. Further right was Jared Stroud, but his touch is very heavy, and it's seen out of play. Now we'll see the change. Robert Taylor's going to come on for Benjamin Kramashi. Also a change for DC United. Coming on as Mati Peltota. Off coming. We'll get that player that's come off in just a few moments. Robert Taylor, the Finnish international. Mati Peltola, of course, also Finnish as well. So rarely would you see that. I mean, that is just something very intriguing. Peltola, of course, arriving at the football club in the off-season. 7 caps for Finland. Rolled central towards Messi. Midway point of the attacking half. It's Messi shouldering off the challenge. It's towards Taylor initially, but he couldn't get a touch to it. It's back on the perimeter of the penalty area for DC United, and it's picked off by Matias Rojas, breaking the space. Looking to drive towards goal. Rojas looking to roll it square. And Klick does well to utilise his body from a defensive position. And now it's lashed up the line by DC United. And Benteke looking to receive in board, but now it's been given as a throw-in to Inter Miami. Midway point of the defensive half is Julian Gressel. Now towards that right flank. And Sergio Busquets receiving in board. Now towards his right-hand side was Gressel. Incisive ball towards the back post, but no one's there to meet it. It'll be in the trusty arms of the goalkeeper, in Alex Bono. One ball forward into the defensive half of down his right-hand side now into Miami, looking to build up forward. Into the centre circle now is with Tomas Aviles. It's with Matias Rojas back to goal. It's with Jordi Alba stepping back towards Rojas. It's with Sergio Busquets. He's been shouldered down and is awarded the free kick. In fact, no, it's been given as advantage now. Tomas Aviles in the centre circle, looking to stride forward. Flicked in by Luis Suarez. And DC United can pick off now. It's with Christian Benteke in the centre circle. Got numbers forward and space towards the right and to the left. He looks left in towards Cu Di Pietro in the area on that left-hand side. But Tomas Aviles with the intercepted pass. And they'll be seen out to be a corner. No, in fact, it will be a throw-in. So it wasn't quite to be on that occasion, but it was very, very close. Tomas Aviles just keeping it in past the corner flag. Clicked midway point of the attacking half on that left-hand side, approaching the area across the D now. This time towards Stroud. Now towards that right-hand side, Herrera. Incisive ball. It's Stroud across the face, still alive for DC United inside the area. It's Klick with his left foot. It's cleared off the line by Weingart. It wasn't quite off the line. It was about 2 yards or so from the penalty line. Now towards his right-hand side for DC United, down this right flank, it's Stroud, stepping back and playing it towards Herrera. And looks like DC United are going to compose themselves once again. Play back all the way to their goalkeeper, looking towards our central left-hand side. And a long, long looping ball is played forward to no one in pursuit. There will be Drake Callender to hold and hold firm. Central right-hand side now is with Tomas Aviles. Past halfway towards that right-hand side. Checking away was initially an Inter Miami player. It's played back in towards the substitute and Peltola. And now McVeigh with a long ball forward. In the centre circle now is Matias Rojas breaking the space. In the central region, looking towards that left flank. On the perimeter of the area, Suarez across the D towards Messi. Messi just shouldered down by several DC United players. Has to shape away and playing on his left foot. He's been bundled down. And now Jordi Alba with the flick pass towards the right flank. Here is Marcelo Weingart. Midway point of Miami's attacking half down that right-hand side. Long ball forward towards Kurmashi. And looks like DC United are going to get it clear. And they do so eventually. Now midway point of the attacking half for Inter Miami. Long ball forward from Tomas Aviles towards Luis Suarez. In fact, sorry, I said Jordi Alba. And now it's picked off by DC United in their defensive half. Long ball forward now. They've got space opening up on that right flank. A long run forward from Stroud, but it's intercepted by Tomas Aviles, who just could pick off the pass in the right time, in the right place. Was so dearly near and close. But it wasn't to be. Central left-hand side now, Jordi Alba. Past halfway. Here's Taylor. Looks like we'll see another change from DC United. Christian Dajorme. In the centre circle now. This time is Nicolas Frio. Jordi Alba rolled central. Matias Rojas. And it's intercepted by DC United by virtue of a header. Now it's in the centre circle now. Only the player going forward is Di Pietro, but it's going to be right into the feet of Drake Callender. Rolled square towards Tomas Aviles. At the midway point of the defensive half, this time is Sergio Busquets upfield. Slightly as Messi, who's muscled down thereabout. And now it's DC United who get it clear. Benteke back to goal. In the centre circle, in a bit of a tussle with Nicolas Frio. Could it be picked off with a loose pass by Jake Stroud? He can, and Jake Stroud gives away the foul. However, in the central region, it was very, very close. But it wasn't quite to be. Unfortunately, Nicolas Frio just pushing him over. But looks like Stroud did kind of exert him a bit more on that occasion, and Di Pietro is going to make way for Christian Dajome. Colombian import, of course, formerly of the Vancouver Whitecaps. One goal this season in the MLS, formerly of the likes of Atlético Nacional, Deportes Tolima and Bogota as well. A 30-year-old, a lot to prove, and wouldn't this be quite the time to do so? And Benteke also looks like he's going to make his way off the park to have a drink, not to go off, because they definitely do need his scoring acumen. Dajome scored against the Philadelphia Union in a 2-2 draw earlier this season. Of course, last time these two sides did meet, it was a 3-1 victory for Miami in March. And Dajome, of course, assisting one of the goals against Inter Miami in September of last year. Not a player that usually starts whatsoever, but a player that gets much needed minutes. That's to be certain. It looks like Nicolas Fleer is in a bit of pain. Tomas Aviles, should I say. Nicolas Fleer. In fact, the player down. They're going to ask for a change. So Sig Vitsov is going to come onto the park. Ironically enough, it was Kvitsov who went down midweek with a bit of a complaint. And it looks like the change will now be confirmed. And Kvitsov is going to make his introduction. Frio is just in a bit of pain here, and the Ukrainian international will make his way onto the park. Sergei Kvitsov, of course, long-time member of Shakhtar Donetsk for about 12 seasons. It's Jordi Alba with the 1-2 pass towards Matias Rojas, back in the defensive half, this time Kvitsov getting his first touch. Just beyond the centre circle is Aviles. Past halfway is now Gressel towards his right-hand touchline. Marcelo Weingart at the midway point of the attacking half for Inter Miami. It's back now with Tomas Aviles, Sergei Kvitsov. Towards that central left-hand side is Jordi Alba. The incisive pass looking towards Robert Taylor in the area. Cutting onto his right. Back towards Luis Suarez on the left-hand side. Flick towards the back stick. Weingart can't get a touch to it. And DC United get it clear. They have space on this left flank to exploit. And here is the Dajome. Left-hand touchline. Approaching himself and Sergio Busquets. It's played back over step. Now into feeders. Mati Peltola. In the centre circle. And a good ball from Mateus Klick out towards his right flank. Herrera. Back across past halfway. Now it's played centrally for Klick. A nice little 1-2 touch and Klick opens up the space. This time on his left foot. Stroud and then Danjuma. Long ball over the top. And that's going to be out for a goal kick. Long ball forward, Peltola. Now towards Stroud. It's clicked on the edge of the area. And it's unfortunate for DC United as they can't exactly win it forward. A good little flick from Benteke on that left-hand side, approaching the penalty area. It's rolled back towards Peltola. About 25 yards out from goal. Lets one fly towards the bottom right corner. It falls. So close, yet so far. Peltola nearly providing DC United the go-ahead goal. The all-important go-ahead goal. Now rolled square at the midway point of the attacking half, should I say, for DC United, as they do win back possession. They're really gaining much needed momentum on this left-hand side now. Santos, and it's in towards Stroud, who can't get the pass away. Jackson Hopkins, should I say, made way for Mati Peltola. I'm not sure if it was previously mentioned. Messi. Long ball forward. It's now back towards Messi. Just past halfway. There's Marcelo Weingart, now midway point of the attacking half. It's towards Busquets. Centre circle now is Matias Rojas. Now towards his left-hand side is with Jordi Alba. Stepping inside, back towards Matias Rojas, the midway point of the attacking half. The brilliant line-splitting pass towards Marcelo Weingart. They can't exactly find an opening into Miami, as we have 20 minutes left in this contest now. Peltola. Now towards this right-hand touchline. It's kept in play. This time Stroud. Looking towards that right flank, but deflects off a few players, and now it will be in Inter Miami's defensive half. This time it is with Tomas Aviles. Sergio Busquets in the centre circle, looking towards Aviles. Past halfway. I'm looking to shift the long ball forward, but no one was remotely close to it. Into the feet of Alex Bono now. Alex Bono. Depends on what discipline you are. It's going to probably get it clear now. It's going to take his time, though, is the goalkeeper. No rush whatsoever for him. Long ball forward. Now Rojas in the midway point of the defensive half of Miami, down the central left-hand side this time. Jordi Alba. Long ball forward, but it's into the centre circle, but headed across by DC United. Gressel now out towards Suarez on this right flank. Numbers forward for Inter. Shifted across into the centre for Messi. Chests it down. Messi still going. Messi! Slightly over the bar. Lionel Messi nearly for Inter. But they're briefly knocking on the door, asking ever so much the questions. So close. But they're getting a little bit closer into Miami. Now 71 minutes gone here at the Chase Stadium. Out towards that right flank for DC United. Peltola in the midway point of the defensive half down the central right-hand side. Chip ball forward. Benteke with a flick on. But it's right out of play and it'll be a throw-in for Miami in the defensive half on that central left-hand side. The ball out towards the right flank from Tomas Aviles. Now towards Gressel. At the midway point of the defensive half this time is Kvitov in the centre circle. Coming into a more central region is Jordi Alba. Matias Rojas tracking back into the centre circle now towards the central right-hand side. Aviles. Kvitov now in the centre circle. In the attacking half for Inter. Aviles out towards that right flank is Gressel. Back towards Aviles. Midway point of the attacking half for Inter. Busquets exchanging passes towards the right flank. Chelo Weingart with a delivery. No one there to meet it. And DC United will race forward now. In the centre circle, Matthias Klick. He's got options, a darting run on that right flank this time from Herrera. Approaching the right edge of the penalty area. DC United isolated with Jordi Alba. Herrera driving central. Outside of the foot pass towards the left flank. 10 yards out from goal. In the area on this left-hand side now. Matthias Klick steps outside of the area. And now DC United are just going to take their time. Towards Santos. Klick. And it looks like Busquets doesn't give away the foul. In fact, the opposite. He's the one who's fouled. Into Miami in their defensive half this time through Sergio Busquets out towards that right-hand side. A long run down the line, but a good step inside from McVeigh. Out for a throw-in. It's Busquets down that right-hand touchline, rolled squared towards Luis Suarez, and a great ball out to that right flank. Messi approaching the penalty area on this right-hand side, driving towards the byline. Messi. And the pass deflected out for a corner. And so this could be the opportunity to arise. Now we'll see a delivery arrive into towards the near post. It's flicked all the way over the top and out for another corner, it looks like. This time on the left-hand side. Wasn't that something a bit different? It's shifted towards the back post again, Weingart! Nearly for Inter Miami. They're getting closer and closer. But 2 games without a goal could be, well, disastrous for them as they look to hold their spot high up in the Eastern Conference. And as things currently stand, they're now slipping to second place. after Cincinnati will seemingly overtaken them following their 3-1 win over St. Louis. And now Benteke striding forward. A couple of step-overs approaching the area on this right-hand flank. This time Mateusz Klich gets the shot away, cross away into the middle. No one's there to fashion a delivery for DC United. Out towards the central right-hand side. Once more, playing up towards the right flank. Jared Stroud, Klich. It's with Stroud on that right-hand touchline. Rolled square in towards Herrera. Out towards shifted towards his left-hand side. Now it's into the air on this left-hand side across the face of goal towards Benteke. But it's lapped clear by Miami out towards the left-hand side for DC United to take. And it's Herrera looking to just track back into his defensive half, but he can't exactly do so. Taylor picks up on this left-hand side now. Will race forward for Inter Miami. He's got numbers there in the middle. Is Taylor still going? Couple of step-overs driving into the left-hand side. Taylor ongoing still. Closed down by two DC United players. Twisting, weaving towards the byline. And he looks across the face. But DC United get it clear. And Miami will keep it in play. Out towards the central left-hand side. Oh, it's been called for a throw-in now. And so we'll see Busquets take it. Out towards his left flank. Jordi Alba right into the back of Herrera. Towards Matias Rojas. Midway point of the attacking half is Weingart. Messi stepping inside. Looking with Sergio Busquets to exchange passes, but he can't exactly do so. Well, so dear so far. It looks like Birnbaum is down on the deck, requiring some attention. And, well, if you were to be DC United, you'd say probably would try and take as much time as they do need. Triple change from DC United. Wow, wow, wow. This is going to be a bit interesting. We'll see what DC United can fashion from this position, but at the very least, it looks like there's a couple of injury concerns. Garrison Tubbs will come on for Birnbaum. Jacob Murrell is going to come on as well. And Martin Rodriguez is going to make way for Santos. Jacob Murrell, of course, just turned 20 a few months ago. Garrison Tubbs. It's two. The 22-year-old fullback. And this marks only the second time he features in an MLS contest. Quite the baptism of fire, dare I say. And Stroud also making way as well. Peltola, now back to their goalkeeper. In Bono. Long ball upfield. A good first touch from Benteke inside the centre circle. Looking to stride forward. Now has the captain's armband in hand. It's Benteke still approaching the D. Looking towards the left flank. Herrera across the face. And it's out for a corner. Yet another one. So Inter really asking the question. Getting themselves in the right spaces and right times when required. They've been quite close in many instances, but could this be the one? Matthijs Klich to deliver. Towards the back stick. There is Benteke Chess. Miami do well to clear. Still in the defensive area. Still alive, however. And the long ball is over the top. Out for a goal kick. Well, into Miami are really just on the ropes at the moment. It's Jordi Alba past halfway. Flick towards that right-hand side. In fact, it is picked off by Martin Rodriguez down this left-hand flank. In the attacking half for DC United. Now it's with Sergio Busquets at the midway point of the defensive half for Inter Miami. Shifted now towards Serhij Kvitsov. Now Jordi Alba. Long ball across, but it's headed away by DC United out for a throw-in for Inter Miami with Sergio Busquets there as well. And looks like David Ruiz is going to make way onto the park for Julian Gressel. Ruiz, of course, another one of the younger players here at Inter Miami. Gressel with a really, in layman terms, not a great impact upon this fixture, one could say. Rojas out towards that right-hand side. Now towards his right-hand touchline is Weingart, who's been brought to ground and is awarded the free kick. Martin Rodriguez is certainly having something to say as well. Not too happy with the call that's been given. At the midway point of the attacking half for David Ruiz, and in the midway point of the attacking half for Inter Miami, Ruiz looking to shift the ball across, but it's still in the attacking half for Inter Miami. So Serhij Kvitsov now in the center circle is Tomas Aviles. Slightly outfield is Matias Rojas out towards that right-hand side. It's with Messi looking to cut in towards the right-hand side, evading Christian Dajorme, and is awarded the foul. About 5 yards out from the right edge of the penalty area on a diagonal angle.
This man really is ripping up the passing.
This is a pivotal moment for Messi in Miami. If they were to perhaps get themselves a go-ahead goal, that would really change the complexion of not just this contest, but I'd say the entirety of the MLS maybe. Messi with a delivery towards the back post, punched away by Bono. Still alive for Ruiz from outside of the box, and on his left foot just absolutely sends it high over the bar. And Bono just punts it away. Of course, more action on Flash Score this evening. Plenty. In fact, I don't think we've seen as many games on the Flash Score platform as we have this evening. In the UK, of course, UK time, and as a free kick is awarded now towards DC United, and it looks like they're going to call for Physio Peltola is down on the deck. But so many games tonight. Of course, we've got PSV versus Waldwijk, Vitesse up against Ajax. And then, of course, the final day of the Premier League, with all those games kicking off at 1 p.m, 4 p.m. UK time, should we say. And then Villarreal taking on Real Madrid, and Barcelona taking on Rayo Vallecano. All of our commentators will be in action tonight as well, which is good at the very least. Wherever you live around the world, tonight, morning, afternoon, Peltola is going to make way. It'll be very, very unfortunate for him if he has to come off the park. But it looks like he's all okay for the time being at the very least. Busquets out towards this right flank. Weingart midway point of the attacking half now. It's with Matias Rojas back to goal. It's with Marcelo Weingart stepping back and a bit of a muscle with Rodriguez, but wins it back just on halfway. It's Tomas Aviles. Sergio Busquets out towards that right-hand touchline. It's sent high up into the crowd by Christian Dajome. And now it's won back by DC United with Matej Klich inside the centre circle, looking out towards the right flank. Up forward is Jacob Murrell, cutting away and getting the strike on goal towards the bottom right corner, but it's claimed very kindly by Drake Callender. On the perimeter of the penalty area was Nicolas Fleur. Now out towards David Ruiz inside his defensive half. Shifted across towards the central right-hand side. Tomas Aviles past halfway now. This time it's with Messi. Long ball forward out towards the penalty area, but it's claimed by Alex Bono towards that left-hand side. And now the long ball is played forward into the defense of Inter Miami. Claimed by Drake Callender. Central left-hand side of the defence now with Jordi Alba, and now with David Ruiz playing as a number 6 this evening here in the Chase Stadium. Aviles towards the central right-hand side. Weingart, of course, Inter Miami average 3 goals per match whilst at home this season. That's not exactly befitting of what we've seen so far, however, is Jordi Alba on this left-hand touchline. Forced to play it back centrally for David Ruiz. In the centre circle is Sergio Busquets. Shifted ball over the top. Messi's onside. Messi bearing down on goal. He's been brought down, but doesn't go to ground. On this left-hand side, on his right-hand touchline, looking to weave past was Rojas. Now Weingart past the byline on his right-hand side. Cross inside to the middle. Can meet no one. Now towards Busquets, about 10 yards out from the penalty. Just been one of those games. At the midway point of the defensive half is Nicolas Fleur shifted across towards Tomas Aviles, who's marching up the pitch. Just inside the defensive half is Matias Rojas. His first pass was deflected and in fact intercepted. And it looks like it'll be a yellow card. What's happening here? I'm not... Martin Rodriguez, it hit the head of Martin Rodriguez. And so they're calling for a physio, maybe for a potential concussion. Concern. It seems to be in some way, unfortunately. Well, looks like with a minute left in regulation, we will see as to what can happen in this second half. Not a lot of time left for either side to make themselves heroes. And it looks like we might see another change from DC United. So it looks like we'll see the introduction of Gabriel Pirani. Pirani, of course, a talented Brazilian international, formerly of the likes of Santos, youth capped at under 23 level. Arrived at the club in July of last season on loan, but then obviously signed a permanent deal. Martin Rodriguez is going to make way, it looks like, unfortunately for him. He only came on the pitch about 10 minutes ago. 7 minutes of added time, by the way. So that is... quite the intriguing moment for DC United. It looks like we'll see the introduction of Gabriel Pirani now. He's going to make his way onto the park. Formerly of Fluminense as well, had a brief loan stint there as well in 2023. Just the one goal in the MLS this season for him. Could he turn provider in the best way possible for the home side? Inter Miami, they have quite a lot to ponder. In the centre circle now is Sergej Kvitsov now, just past halfway on the central left-hand side towards Jordi Alba now. Looking incisively now towards that right-hand touchline. It's briefly kept in play, but it's now picked off by Jacob Murrell. Just on halfway is Sergej Kvitsov now. Shifted across towards Aviles. In the centre circle now is Matias Rojas. Switch out towards that right flank in the attacking half at Miami. In towards the box. It's headed back by DC United briefly. Headers exchanging. It's towards the D now. But 25 yards out from goal. A long ball across from Busquets into the area. Rojas flicked towards Weingart. Because that's forced to play at central. But again, DC United pick off and they might have momentum going forward. It's with Christian Dajome bearing down on goal. He's got options to his left. It's Dajome again. Free strike on goal. It's a great save by Calendar towards his left. Might have kept him in the game. Might indeed have done so. It's shifted across towards the back post again, but what a moment. What a moment. And it's been called for a substitution. Leonardo Campagna will provide some more striking output. Christian Dajome, a great save towards his left. They were so close, yet so near and so far. Midway point of the defensive half on that right-hand side now. Rojas will make way for Campagna. Long ball forward. Campagna's free! Campagna! His first touch! Leonardo Campagna has won it for Inter Miami in the 94th minute! Wowee! Here at the Chase Stadium. An unbelievable touch. An unbelievable strike. Hits the upright. And when they needed a man to provide the impetus and the spark to keep them on the top of the standings, there is Leonardo Campagna with his quite literal first touch of the football. And Sergio Busquets with an incredible delivery towards Campagna. A great first touch. And that is an excellent finish at that. What a great assist. What a brilliant piece of football from Inter Miami. Leonardo Campagna. Take a bow. The shirt off as well for good effect. But that is just brilliant football from Inter. Goal now is with Jordi Alba inside the penalty area on the defensive half as Sergej Kvitsov. They've been pegged back very deep into Miami. This is picked off now by DC United in their midfield, this time for Mattia Peltola. Now just across the centre circle now, out towards that right-hand side it was briefly. And DC United, they're in much of a rush. Troy Lesesne urging his man upfield. Long ball forward by Alex Bono into the attacking half. Headed back by Aviles. Campagna back to goal. Now towards Herrera. Rolled square towards Peltola. Now it's with Herrera. Shifted across into the area. Click, and he's brought to ground. Is an Inter Miami player and Sergej Kvitsov, and Click is not happy. I think he's going to be awarded a yellow card as well. Maybe for just remonstrating with the referee. outrageous turn of events. Somehow, someway, Inter Miami have just about won by the scruff of the neck. If you could even call it that. It's not just a scruff of the neck, it's the most finite of times and places. Wowee. Out towards Campagna. Out towards that right flank. Back to goal. This time was Jacob Muriel. It's Jordi Alba stepping in towards the corner flag, and it's Muriel who gets it out clear towards that right hand side. It'll be out for a goal kick. Now we'll see the goal kick. For Inter Miami. 97 minutes gone. Looks like they've all just about sealed a victory here at the Chase Stadium. It's Straight Callender with the clearance. Now towards that left-hand side. There might be one last chance, of course, for either side, and Alba with a heavy touch towards that left-hand side. Taken in quickly by Herrera. It's in towards Beltola. Midway point of the defensive half is Jordi Alba. Shifting way back of a marker. Now David Ruiz. Looking to stride forward. Play a long ball over the top. But no one's in there to receive. Into the arms of Alex Bono, who himself lines one up from long range. Now towards DC United with a heavy touch. And this time Robert Taylor will look to receive down that right-hand side. Rolled square towards Sergio Busquets. And a long ball forward. This time Messi back to goal. Messi looking to weave onto his right. It's picked off by DC United. He was called for offside anyway, but play will continue. Past halfway on this left-hand side. A good little run through it was initially and brought to ground. In fact, not quite, is Gabriel Pirani. And Sergio Busquets gives away the foul. And so the free kick, 50 yards out from goal on this left-hand side. It's going to be quite the delivery if they can fashion one in. And it's into the mixer now. Might it be a lie for DC United? Not quite. Herrera shifted across the D. Out towards McVeigh. Now it's Herrera. In towards the centre it goes. And that might be the final chance. It's flicked over the top in a more central area. But DC United, too little, too late.
you